Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Primal Chaos here, and today I'm going to be looking at another song by Bring Me the Horizon. You guys really responded well to the last one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, full disclosure, I mentioned last time, I am familiar with current Bring Me the Horizon. So, you know, as much as I'm not familiar with hardcore in general, most people don't consider, like, was it Posthuman or whatever, to be really sort of along the lines of traditional hardcore or metalcore. And so, you know, that to me, it sort of doesn't count. There's a lot more production and stuff like that. Now, what I discovered by listening to the last track I reviewed is that a lot of the elements and the bones of what they're currently doing were still there back in the day, back in 2008. And so, you know, I thought I'd go back again and listen to some more stuff. This one's from Sempiternal, and it's called Sleepwalking. It was recommended to me in the chat. And again, I've never heard this song. I have no idea what it's like. I've got a pretty good idea that it's going to be bombastic and wild and crazy and probably to go in a bunch of different directions, like the Bring Me the Horizon that I'm familiar with, and also from what I heard in the last reaction I did as well. But yeah, I'm just going to jump straight into this one because, you know, you guys know why you're here. Let's check it out. I'm excited. These guys always kick my ass. Cool sounds. Wow. Sorry, Ollie. This is so much more melodic than I expected. I mean, so again, I don't know the trajectory too much of the band, other than I know that they had some fundamental shifts that some of the fans weren't super psyched about. So the way I understand it, Sempiternal was a little bit of a turning point, a little bit experimental. I'm hearing synths in there now, way more melodic than I was expecting. I mean, the song's called Sleepwalking, so it kind of implies a certain floatiness, I guess. But yeah, okay. I was expecting something completely different. I'm in. Let's do it. Let me jump back a little bit because I want to hear those melodies and try and pick out what sounds I'm hearing. Yeah, that's the electronic elements that are more current in their material. Pretty anthemic. Okay, so I mean, I'm hearing guitar work that's super outside the genre. It's really with most things I've heard so far, it's all about playing as low as possible, and a lot of the rhythm guitar is like wherever, I'm not even sure what chord it is, but up higher sort of rhythmic parts, and they're letting the bass exist in its own space with the kick drum, and then there's a bit of a gap, and then you've got these high-end sort of lush sort of guitars over the top and synths somewhere in the middle. So wow, that's really interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I heard something like this out of Bring Me the Horizon now, but not from way back then. And so yeah, this just proves that I don't know anything about anything in this genre or about these bands. I don't know whether or not this was one of those, let's try to put out a single that charts, you know, or something like that in the middle of a much heavier album. But like, if you listen to the space, Like through this part, there's some more mid-tone sort of guitars, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's brutally low or anything. Hear that? There's guitars in there, like just playing probably just 2 or 3 notes of the chord just up the top. It comes in just here, right? When this. And then you've got your rhythm guitars doing the, you know, that sort of thing. But there's like a descant part running through there. It's like, and it's panned sort of hard left and maybe right. Let me check. It's in both sides. And yeah, because it's mixed in with whatever synth sound or whatever they've got in there, it's really hard to pick it out. But it's like this interesting rhythm up there. That's really cool. Again, the mix is great. It really supports the song, what it's trying to do. Oh yeah, and did I mention Ollie is really singing in this one? Like it's, I'm wondering if this is one of those scenarios where, you know, early on in his career, blew out his voice fairly often and then maybe started to get a vocal coach. And obviously the first thing they start teaching you is proper support techniques and exercises and breathing techniques and pitch control and all of these things that typically hardcore bands don't really need to worry about. Like, I mean, I've heard of bands, a friend of mine, a few friends of mine play in a band or used to play in a band called Alice Through the Windshield Glass. And I remember hearing a story about how they had a bit of a screw up at a show because when they were driving down to the show, they decided that they were going to change all the tuning of their guitars and it turned into a disaster. But the fact that they don't think twice about changing the key of all of their music right before they do a show just proves that, you know, these guys can't be called singers. They're vocalists, right? Because a singer has to very strategically select the key of the songs. And you'll often hear the album track is a different key to when they perform it live because years have gone by and they can't hit the high notes anymore. So they'll drop it down like a semitone or a tone so that live it's a lot more comfortable for them to hit the high notes and things like that. With screaming, it doesn't matter. So a lot of people or vocalists that grow up with influences within the screaming sort of demographic, they don't ever have to worry about pitch. And a lot of the things that go into having a proper supported voice. Now, most of you probably are aware from hearing vocalists talk that training becomes really, really important for maintaining your voice long term. And so these guys, you know, oftentimes they'll hit a bit of a roadblock after like, you know, 1 or 2 albums and touring where they just can't sing anymore. They've got really badly damaged voices. They've got bad vocal nodules and their voice doesn't snap back the next morning the way that it used to, you know? And so sometimes what they'll do is they'll get a vocal coach and they'll be like, listen, you need to dial it back or you need to work on different techniques to produce the same sounds in a healthy way and things like that. And what ends up happening is you get a lot of these extreme vocalists who start to introduce a little bit more melody into their work. I'm wondering if that's what's going on here. That was a really long way of saying, I don't know what Ollie's doing. It sounds great. Like he's got a good vocal tone. And he's still got a lot of element of that fry scream in there that sort of like, you know, breaks it up and makes it sound more edgy. But yeah, it's, I mean, and again, screaming or growling through this song wouldn't really fit the aesthetic anyway. So it sort of works. Yeah, so there's definitely melody in there where you normally be like, rah, 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 but it's, ah, na, 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 na. You know, that's the difference. It's like pitch doesn't really factor into it, you know, like, and that's the funny thing too. I'm learning about harsh vocals is oftentimes like high sounding ones. We discuss them as being high, but they're not high in pitch the way that you would pitch a high note singing. It's just a different arrangement of your vocal track that gives you a more squeezed sound that sort of translates to what we consider high. where it's technically not, you're not bringing everything up to hit high notes. It's really strange. So this has probably been I mean, I don't know how much Ollie sang outside of the band back in the day, like, you know, just walk around the house singing and stuff like that. It might have been something you had to learn from scratch. I really don't know, but
It's like I'm sleepwalking, sailing to another hole again. It's like I'm sleepwalking. I'm at the edge of the world.
actually, what's really interesting though, when you think about it, to make a fry type sound that isn't pitched, like a rah, 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 rah sort of thing, I feel like that's probably way easier to produce than to sing a note with a fry element to it, because you can make those sounds rah, rah, rah where you're comfortable. You don't have to move it up and down. It's just where it naturally comes out of your voice. And so, you know, to be able to then take a sung note and add fry to it, it's trickier than just screaming or growling without melody, you know. So hats off to him. It's really cool that they moved in this direction. Again, I'm a rookie. Maybe Bring Me the Horizon has tons of old material before this where there's heaps of singing. I just didn't think that they did.
Where do I go from here? Do I disappear? Edge of the world. Should I sink or swim, or simply disappear? Your eyes are swallowing me. Mirrors not a whisper, shadows not a sing. My skin smothering me. Help me find a way to rest. Singing time stood still, the way it did before.
This is really just catchy hooks, man. The sign of a great song is when you could take this song and produce it in any other genre of music and it would still be a good song. And I feel like the hooks and the catchiness of the chorus and stuff like that are really exciting in this, because you can tell there's a lot of thought put into the feel and the vibe that they're putting out through emotionally by what they're putting down in the chorus, particularly. That big "it's like I'm sleepwalking" is just it's definitely something that you wanted to sing along to when you're driving in the car by yourself and things like that, and you'll have that bouncing around your head for hours after you've heard the song. Oh.
Give me a reason to start again. Wake up, pull me
Oh, that's great.
a reason to start again.
Sorry, I got to hear that. There's like how would I describe it? It's like a scuttly kind of skip to that breakdown part there. That's, to me, sounds kind of unusual. It's rhythmically like sort of, it's skittery, you know?
To start again. Wake up, take my hand.
Oh,
Give me a reason to start again. Wake up, pull me out and
dun, 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 dun. Oh my God, that's so cool. Hang on.
wake up, pull me out.
Dun, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, what a great riff. Oh my God. I knew something would have to happen because so far it's been pretty much just a great rock song, but that,
Like I'm sleepwalking. Wake up, take my hand and give me a reason to start again. Wake up, pull me out and give me a reason to start again.
oh, that's so good.
Time stands
Those hats. So this is something I've noticed as a bit of a theme when you take a song, and I've probably talked about this in other reviews too, when you take a song that's typically pretty fast paced and you drop back to like a halftime or like a sleepy kind of a dreamlike thing, it's real easy to drop everything back rhythmically and just have kind of this ploddy part of the song, which is kind of boring. And it seems like everybody always does something to bring the tempo up while still maintaining a slow feel. And in this case, you can hear this hi-hats, which is interesting because I just reviewed an August Burns Red song where they threw in like a sample of that sort of thing at the intro. But if you like, another thing that these bands do to sort of compensate for that slowness is they'll have like a guitar part with like a delay on it so that it sort of echoes and does like a like the Edge would do in U2 or something like that. But it's usually really subtle and quiet in the background, pretty high pitched so that it's not getting in the way of the moodiness. But just have a listen, you'll hear the hi-hats. There it is right there. Yeah. Because without that, you would have a kick drum going boof, book, boof, book. And I mean, based on the rest of the song, you need more energy than that. And so those hi-hats come in. And if it wasn't the hi-hats, it would be some other element, like a synth part that's got like a gate on it or something like that. Is that hook again? Yeah, this is something that I haven't seen a lot in the metalcore genre, is coming back to parts over and over again, like having a strong hook chorus. You know, it seems like with a metalcore song, you need, like, rather than having a good chorus you repeat, you've got to have 6 different things that are awesome. And so this is your traditional, just a straight up rock song. All right. Okay, I'll be back in a sec with the summary. See that right there? And that, they're my eyes. They don't work so good. I'm pretty badly colorblind, as is 1 in 6 of you guys and 1 in 200 women. In my description, you'll see a link to Enchroma where you can get your eyes tested and find out if you're color deficient, and if so, how. They also sell amazing glasses that will help you see color. You've seen all the viral videos. You should check them out. If you use the code CHAOS in the coupon code section of the thing, you'll get 10% off. So definitely do that. And now we'll get back to the summary. Okay, so this song was a bit of a surprise, to be perfectly honest. I was expecting to hear a lot more of what I've been hearing pretty constantly over the last few days, and that's lots more of really aggressive guitars and drums and in-your-face rhythms, amazing riffs and stuff. And what I got was a pretty soulful rock song with a great hook that's just really likable. It's just a great song. I can see this popping up on a bunch of playlists, you know. Whether you're a dyed-in-the-wool, I only like the old shit that's heavy, Bring Me the Horizon fan or not, you can't deny that that's a catchy song, you know. It'll definitely be on my playlist. I really enjoyed it. The clip was kind of nice as well. I was paying more attention to the music, which is interesting. That's always an acid test for me as well. If I've gotten 3/4 of the way through the clip and I couldn't even tell you what I've seen, that means it's a really good song. But, you know, they had some great visuals and it was, you know, some emotional components and stuff, which was nice. But musically speaking, were they breaking any new ground? No, I don't think so. But I think a good song doesn't have to. And that's interesting for me to say, because so much of the stuff I've been doing during this review process or this reaction process has been breaking new ground for me, hearing things I've never heard before, really cool production elements, really cool, you know, songwriting elements and tools that these bands are using that are unfamiliar to me because I don't listen to as much extreme music. Yeah, so honestly, man, this has been a trip. This is really interesting. I've had a few curveballs. The first song I reviewed or reacted to was Vice Grip by Parkway Drive, and I thought it was a joke. and it was a great song. Much like this, it's just a good rock song. But when I went in to listen to Parkway, I was expecting something completely different. And, you know, Karma proved to me, you know, that that wasn't what they typically do. And this is, you know, Karma is kind of more what I had in line expectation wise. And this is one of those. I was expecting something completely different. I was pleasantly surprised and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. And I'll have plenty more coming up very soon. I'm trying to pump out every time I get any sort of spare time at all. I try to do a song and try and get that uploaded that day. We'll see what happens. It seems like some stuff gets copyright strikes and taken down. Some stuff gets demonetized, which I'm fine with. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to just go on this journey and build a really cool community. So making money off these artists isn't of any interest to me. So the demonetization's fine. When they remove the video and then I've got to dispute it, sometimes it just means it might take some time for that one to go live. So yeah, but thanks for sticking around, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, hit me up or below in the comments or on, you know, if you see me on Reddit or something like that. Yeah, really looking forward to some more cool suggestions. Thanks again.